Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. So good morning. Happy Friday. So we are entering the weekend possibly on a good note because we are seeing a historic and massive drop in Bitcoin reserves across all exchanges. So one of the great things that actually happened after the FTX fallout. But unfortunately, the contagion is still spreading. So I'm going to talk about this other spread, or who is spread to, and what we can look forward to this weekend. So let's get started. Welcome, guys. Good morning. It's Friday. It's Friday. Yeah, I forgot to mention next week is Thanksgiving too for those of us in the U.S. So it's probably lighter volume. A lot of people will be taking vacations and so forth. So may not see a lot of volatility next week, which is a good thing. But let's start out with the contagion. Yesterday, Genesis Trading paused withdrawals. They're the ones that provide Gemini with their Earn program. They are more catered to institutions, but they do some retail stuff with Gemini. So they are a lending company as well, but they're beyond lending. They're actually quite big in all aspects. So they shut down withdrawals yesterday. And that's the market bell. The best bell in the industry, guys. So they did that, and today it seems like this is the reason why. Because they're down $1 billion. They're looking for $1 billion bailout from investors. Okay? Now, did they lose $1 billion just with FTX? According to reports, no. They had about 10% of their total assets. Somewhere in here, it was like 100, it came out to be like 100 million or something. No, 175 locked in. Okay, so pretty much assume that that's just gone. But that's not the biggest thing because they lost earlier this year 2.3 billion to Three Arrows Capital. That's a lot to make up. So Three Arrows Capital fell earlier, I think June of this year. And they were hurt badly. 2.3 billion. Now another 175 million due to funds on FTX. So Genesis, Genesis Trading, lending, they're in a world of hurt right now. So this is the reason why, of course, the contagion, unfortunately, is still spreading, right? This time, it's more like the crypto projects, the crypto companies, I should say, rather than the individual smaller projects that's retail based. Now we're seeing more of the back end guys, the providers, the bigger kind of like the crypto institutions that's getting really hurt by FTX. But that's not all. There's another firm called Genesis Block, which has nothing to do with Genesis lending or trading, but this company also is very involved with OTC, again, institutions and ATM. They're actually one of the largest Asia providers for Bitcoin ATM machines. So they also just basically ceased. They stopped their OTC trading, and they told everyone to withdraw everything they have from their ATMs, right? So they're also really hurt by FTX. So unfortunately, the contagion is still spreading at this point. But like I said, right now it seems like it's all spreading to more like the back-end players, the ones that's serving institutions and so forth, not so much like the retail side. And that could be good. Well, it's never good when anything collapses, but at least it does seem like the contagion is somewhat limited on the retail side. Let's just put it that way. But Silvergate says there's always Bitcoin buyers. Silvergate also affected by FTX, a crypto bank, again, serving more like institutions. They also had like 100-something million locked in FTX, right? And their shares they actually have shares, so their shares was decimated recently because of their ties with FTX. But anyways, they still seem okay. They haven't really said they're having money issues. But their CEO does think that there's always Bitcoin buyers. No matter how bad it gets, there will always be Bitcoin buyers. There will always be people who believe, and there's always people that's in the game looking to DCA, right? And I agree with that. I agree with that. Now, the good thing, like I said at the beginning of this video, the good thing about this FTX contagion is this. Bitcoin reserves leaving the exchanges at pretty much a historic rate right now, okay? It doesn't always translate in terms of price. Obviously, you could see that the reserves is dropping along with the price right now, right? But just think about it. Put 2 and 2 together. When there's less reserves overall, less Bitcoin circulating around, what does that mean? Well, that means when demand comes back up, there's going to be massive price appreciation because there's just less of it for people to buy and to trade, right? So overall, what we want to see long term is the balance on exchanges drop and drop and drop and drop and drop and drop, eventually dropping to such a low level, it basically becomes unattainable for people. It basically becomes impossible for people 10 years, 20 years down the road to even afford one Bitcoin. It will be reserved for the ultra elite, the ultra rich. That could be coming one day, and I do think it's going to come. But that's the one good thing that's coming out of this FTX drama, saga, contagion, is that people realize, well, I need to safeguard my own crypto. I need to take it off the exchange, store it on a cold wallet, and just basically leave it there. Okay, that is fantastic. And it's not just Bitcoin, because Ethereum. I pulled up the Ethereum one, and you can see similar drop, right? Ethereum is also dropping. People are taking it out and just storing it or staking it, right? And that is a great. It's a great thing overall. Great thing overall. So I wanted to kind of lead with that. What else is going on in the crypto space? Well, you still have great metrics like this, or great analysis like this. Moving averages starting to flip, and of course you have very, very, very oversold levels on pretty much all intervals, all time frames, right? And you look at our current drop, the number of days that we've been in this drop, very similar to the previous time. So again, there's still a lot of on-chain metrics and TA that indicate that great things are coming. You just have to be patient and wait for it to come. All right, now what else is there? Good news for Ripple. Ripple is seeking a license in Ireland to drive EU expansion. Obviously, there's a lot going on with Ripple, right? Still engaged with that battle with the SEC, fighting for the whole industry. So that's fantastic. Also, one of the Ripple lawyers is looking at taking on action against Gary Gensler himself because of his involvement with FTX. So that could spur into something. That could be good too. So Ripple is fighting the good battles right now for everyone. So that's good overall. Cardano just announced that they will be coming out with their own stablecoin, USDA. That'll be coming out soon, by the end of Q1 of 2023. So that could be good. Cardano right now is still very light in the DeFi area. You don't see many major players like USDC or USDT or BUSD announce that they're moving to Cardano. So Cardano has decided to take matter in their own hands. Emergo is going to come out with this, but there's another project, Cody, that's coming out, DGED. So there will be a lot of stablecoins coming out next week, hopefully to boost Cardano's DeFi ecosystem. So that's also pretty good. What else? Dogecoin holders among the least stressed amid the current market crisis. Really? Is it because Dogecoin holders just simply does not care, or because they believe in Elon so much they know that greater things are coming? I don't know. It's quite interesting that that Doge holders are among the least stressed. What about the most stressed? Well, FTX token, yes, that makes sense. Tether, there's still a lot of people that's very worried about Tether. Yes, this is why I prefer USDC over Tether or BUSD. Then you have Bitcoin, Cardano, XRP, and then you go on and on. Even Terra Classic. Terra Classic is at 11. So I guess people that do hold Terra Classic right now are not so stressed. And then SHIB is pretty down there at 22. And then least stressed the data and decentralized sandbox. That's kind of hard to believe. That I don't buy that. But anyways, there you go. Whatever that's worth. And looking at the U.S. stock market today, the market bell rung already. So yeah, today is looking like a green day. So that's good. This whole week for U.S. market has been good. Unfortunately, it's not carried into crypto, right? Because of the FTX fallout. But this whole week actually been pretty positive for equities. I did see this. If you're in the UK, not looking good. Sharpest fall in living standards on record as government tightens its belt. I saw inflation just went up to over 11%. The GDP is contracting and will continue to contract in 2023, estimated by 1.4%. So many people, when I say many people, I mean like Bank of England is already coming out saying the recession in 2023 will be among the worst ever recorded. And their measure of living standards projected to fall by 4.3% in 2022. And if you add that to what's projected in 2023, that's 7.1%. That's a lot, right? And I'm sure it's not just the UK. We concentrate on UK a lot, but I'm sure if you look at other countries in Europe, I don't know, for example, Germany or Italy, they're probably facing the same thing too. So unfortunately, inflation is still an issue. Negative growth is still an issue, and rate hikes are still an issue too. Let's see. And then lastly, this. I don't know why. Qatar is going to ban beer at the World Cup stadiums for FIFA. This has to be like the worst timing. I guess, I don't know if it's just like because they think there's too many people that go crazy at the stadiums or something. But yeah, they're going to be selling like Budweiser Zero, like non-alcoholic beer in the stadiums. I don't know. It just seems like it's a really bad idea. But maybe there's just too many drunk people at these events, and they want to stop that. I don't know. People just show up to the stadiums drunk then. You know, I don't know. All right, that is pretty much it. I don't have my coin market cap pulled up. Let's do some Q&A. All right, let me scroll up here. Let's see what I missed. People are still asking about the supposed sex tape. I don't know if anyone stayed up all night looking for that, but I think that's a bust. GME8, I appreciate it. It's a little outdated, that video, but it gives you a good idea. Let's see. What happens to the option expiration? I think it already happened. Just nothing happened afterwards. 600 million. I don't know exactly when it expires. I don't know if it's ended. I'm pretty sure it's the beginning of the day. Sometimes we do get some volatility, sometimes just non-event. MMA fan, food goes up every time I go food shopping here in the UK. I don't think it's just limited to the UK, even in the US. You know, recently I've been doing a lot of shopping because of my grocery shopping, I should say, because of my diet. So I've been eating out less. But every time we get out of the grocery store, it's hundreds of dollars. It's not any cheaper to do grocery shopping. So things have gone up so much. So people are saying this is a Muslim country, that's why. But still, they said they're gonna have like alcohol after like 6:30 or 7 or something like that. So it's not complete ban. It's just during the games or during the morning. What happens if excuse me. What happens if Binance falls at the end of crypto? It's not an end of crypto, but it's going to set it back. It'd be equivalent of the Federal Reserve crashing. I think it'll be as devastating as that. Terry, Terry, I don't know how to answer that. I'm just not gonna answer. But yeah. A lot of economic indicators point to March, April timeframe for a point recovery. How much do you think BTC will fall by then? I'm ready to multi-coiner. I don't think it necessarily means it has to fall at all until March or April. That's not what it means. It could simply just be slow and steady until then. I kind of agree with you. I think maybe like mid of 2023 is when things really come back. And when they come back, that's why you want to make sure you don't get out in the first place, because when things come back, they come back very, very fast. The number of stable coins out there is dramatic. We're talking about, over 100 billion that could be put back into crypto when things get good again. Next FOMO run will be insane. But that doesn't mean that from now till then, things are going to get worse. I still argue if we didn't have this FTX collapse, Bitcoin could be back up to 24,000. We were above 21, 22. And this whole week for equities has been good because inflation in the US seems to be tapering out. So again, had it not been FTX going under, you know, we could be in a much better spot heading towards 30K already. But it is what it is. We still have some time before end of the year. We could still make a move before end of the year, but I don't necessarily agree that just because things will get better in April and March or April that we're necessarily go down from here. Joel, what happened with the guy? I mean, I kind of explained what happened, so there's nothing else to say. I have not heard from him since. In your opinion, what could sink crypto dramatically further? You have one of the big boys go under. Tether goes belly up. That would be devastating. Binance going belly up, be complete devastation. I mean, you could still have other exchanges go down, right? Still a lot of panic, a lot of smaller bank runs, but luckily the other exchanges have been pretty solid so far. But if you see other major exchanges start going down one after another, it would be horrible too. I have an idea, about that guy, right? So I captured him on film just a little bit. I blurred it out, obviously, right? But I had my car parked outside, and I know he drove past it. So I'm going to check out Sentry mode after this to see if I see anything else suspicious. I don't know if it even captured, but I was just thinking about that the other day. Actually, I was thinking about this morning. So I'm going to check that and see. What's your favorite exchange these days? I mean, I've been using the ones I've been using for a while. Binance.us, because I'm not overseas. But if I was overseas, I would be using Binance. But because I'm in the U.S., I use Binance.us. I still have used Gemini a little bit as a fiat on and off ramp, right? I don't use fiat on or off for Binance.us, only Gemini. And overseas, I do still have KuCoin, and I have a little bit in MEXC, and that's about it. And then everything else is either in MetaMask, and I just use that for the DEXs. That's it. What would it take for Tether to go down? Another bank run like UST? Yeah, the only way Tether will go down is if they experience a massive bank run. And we have seen it. When Luna collapsed, UST collapsed, we saw like a bank run of about $4 billion. $4 billion happened with Tether, and they hardly moved, which shows they have way more than $4 billion in the bank. But, their market cap is 66 billion, right? Let's say there's a bank run of 40 billion. For whatever reason, something very damning comes out, and everyone's trying to pull, right? Let's say there's a bank run of 40 billion. Can they withstand that? Do they really have 40 billion to pull out to give to people? See, that's where we don't know, right? Supposedly in their audits, they say they've been decreasing their corporate bonds, holdings. They're moving to all treasury bonds and so forth. But no one really knows. If all centralized exchanges go down and we can only trade on chain, does that mean all blockchain projects have to create their own? No. No, that's not what it means at all, Dan. You could still have every blockchain create their own DEX or just a fiat on ramp, off ramp. I mean, I don't think you're correct in that, and they're not going to create their own centralized exchanges. They could, project can create their own stuff and still make it decentralized by spreading out the governance. That's what most projects are doing. So, no, I don't agree with that. They'll just probably create some way to have, fiat on-ramp, off-ramp using a provider, or they create their own, but then you could just trade everything through liquidity pools or DEXs. Can you trade BTC into Trust Wallet using KCC network? If so, I think Trust, if you're using, no. How would you send BTC over to KCC network, Nick? That doesn't even make sense. KCC network is, I'm pretty sure it's ERC20 based, so you're not going to be sending Bitcoin over that. You're sending Bitcoin over to Bitcoin network. Nick, I don't think that's accurate. If alts are considered securities, how would that affect retail holders? I don't think it really affects holders. It affects the projects that issue the tokens. Now they have to, listen to the SEC and do a lot of stuff. Probably a lot of bookkeeping, a lot of auditing, a lot of stuff. They may be forced to do a lot of KYC. I don't know the requirements of a security, what the SEC demands. South Park is making an FTX episode. I wouldn't doubt it. They have talked about Bitcoin and crypto before, so I'm pretty sure it'll be funny. I haven't watched a South Park episode in a decade. How many stable coins are left? There's a lot. Over 100 billion. Which is the biggest one? And Dan, do you not know? Can you not read CMC? Man, it's right here in front of you. It's right in front of you right there at 66 billion. Obviously, that's the biggest one. Then the one right afterwards, 44 billion. And then 2 spots down, another one. So, yes, those are all the biggest ones. Ruben, appreciate it. Thoughts on Kyber Network? Kyber's like an old DEX trying to transform themselves. I've never been a big fan. I mean, they have a prettier interface. It's much easier to use Kyber than some of the other DEXs out there, at least before. Now a lot of DEXs are pretty much the same. I'm neutral. I talked about the Cardano stablecoin already. So this is directly from Emergo. So this is more like the official one, USDA, but of course there's the DJ one from Cody, but I don't know why like USDC hasn't come on to Cardano. Maybe they're not allowed. I don't know. But yeah, this could be a good thing for them in 2023. Definitely help their DeFi projects. And any other projects, even their NFTs projects, right? If they all convert to USDA, that would be a good thing. No, they said this is backed by fiat. So this should not be an algorithmic stablecoin. They said this will be backed by the US dollar. Irvin says the problem with people buying coin is they wait until something's about to happen, price to go higher instead of buying it before anything. Well, that's exactly right. That's how most retail investors are. They buy in due to FOMO, and then they sell due to fear. But the ones that have gone past that, the ones that realize, hey, you know what? I got to DCA or I got to buy in when others are fearful, they're the ones that do the best. All the major Wall Street guys, all the self-made billionaires, they'll all tell you the same thing. Like, there's really no secret to what we do. We buy when other people are selling. And we buy a great project we believe in and we hold. I mean, literally every single self-made billionaire will tell you the exact same story. So it's a proven strategy. Dan, I'm just in crypto right now. I bought a few NFTs before, but not too much. It's always been more crypto. I think Joel Amos, I think the most under radar news is Nubank use case for Matic. Do you think other banks will follow suit as a creative use? I don't even know what you're referring to. I know Nubank is a new style bank, I guess, in Brazil, backed by Warren Buffett. I don't know what they're using for Matic. Matic already has so much things going on. So I've already shared, they're working with Instagram. They're working with Disney. They're working with a whole bunch of brands. Every single NFT marketplace that's coming out is on top of Polygon. They have so much going on, which is why I think Polygon is going to have a great future. Oh yeah, I did cover that. Launching loyalty token on Matic, that's not a big deal. I don't think that's a big deal. I was thinking that maybe they announced that they're going to do like cross-border payments or settlements on Matic. That would be a much bigger deal. But launching loyalty tokens on Matic, it's okay, but not nearly as big as some of the other stuff that's going on. What are the biggest pros of stablecoin? I guess the biggest pro, well, if you're looking at it from like a profit-taking perspective, obviously cashing the stablecoins keeps your money still in crypto. It incentivizes people not to just like cash out, right? So I guess that's the biggest pro. Also, it makes it very easy for people to actually deal with DEXs, right? So you could do all the trading pairs on DEXs are crypto-based, not fiat-based, right? So that's also a big benefit. Jason said, I'm going to panic sell and FOMO in at 40K. Well, hopefully you're joking because that's not the right way to do it. But, you know, there will be a lot of people that do that. Once Bitcoin goes above 30,000, starts climbing from there, there will be people that FOMO back in, you know. As funny as that is, but most retail investors FOMO in when there's big moves. They make it after big moves, right? I mean, that's just how it is. FOMO is hard to control. You know, I don't even mean to pick on the new retail investors. I mean, I fall for it all the time, too. I'm sure many of you guys have, too. You know, in a project you believe in, you think great things are going to come, you see some sudden movement, you're like, yeah, you know what? Let's get some more. You know, it's hard to control sometimes because you believe in a project so much. But overall, as an investor, you got to learn to try to cut out as much FOMO as possible. And then, you know, buy in before the moves when things are low, right? That's the way to do it. All right, guys, that's it. Overall, today's kind of a quiet day. I was looking forward to that sex tape, but turned out that was a farce. But unfortunately, FTX contagion is still spreading, but it seems like the spread is limited to more the back end, you know, companies that's catering to the institutions, not so much retail. So that's good. So well, it's better than an alternative. Let's just put it that way. But overall, guys, stay strong. Great things are still coming for Bitcoin and crypto, and don't give up. All right. So today's Friday. No stream tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.